Hey Mark, alright, so here is your birthday spread. Happy birthday, by the way. Here's your past life spread, and what we're going to do is we're going to see where we are, what you did with the majority of your time, an important day, another important day, the death, and the lesson learned. And we'll get hints of time throughout. And your job is going to be to try to make connections from this life to your current life, okay? And I'll try to help in the meantime. So let's start off. And here we have the Americas card, and that can be, South, Central, North America. And it's really cool because the feeling I'm getting is North America, and I don't get that a lot, hardly at all. And we're going to the West Coast, and it feels very much like we're living on the California coast, and it feels like this could possibly be your very last life or your last couple of lives, okay? It feels very present, very modern. And so I'm looking at, so basically I get images and impressions. I'm just going to relay to you what I'm seeing, and what I'm seeing is the coastline. I'm seeing like as though through your eyes looking out at the coast, and I feel like you are around the water, or you live near the water. Just trying to feel like what this is. I feel like this is a male life. I feel like there's something about being outdoors because it's putting me outside. Sometimes I'll be looking through a window of where the person lives, but this is outside, feet in the grass, kind of like enjoying barefootedness. Just keep that in mind. So we're going to go to what you did with the majority of your time. So here we have life at sea. Okay, and that can mean many things. So these cards, it's not just face value. Like life at sea doesn't mean you have to be like a ship captain or anything like that. It can simply mean that you're by the sea, or you spend the most of your time near the water. So I'm just trying to see what this is, because it's still at that looking out at the coast. Something about, honestly, this feels like something that has to do with the weather. Like back in the, like someone that, honestly, it feels like you work at a lighthouse. I feel like you're someone that either works at a lighthouse or someone that relays the weather. This is before there's a weather person on TV, though. This feels like, this is before television. So this is, but you're known for this. I don't know how they used to do that. I don't know how they used to be like meteorologists or whatever they're called. I don't know how they used to convey the weather out before there was television. But this feels like someone who would do that, or someone that feels like you work at a lighthouse. It feels like you're used to being out with whipping winds. Like there's nonstop whipping winds. There's a feeling of not just contentedness, but also like you you're content with this, but you're good at it. Like it's a natural thing, almost like you've been a weather reader forever, if that makes sense. Like it feels like it's just in your blood. If there weren't instruments that you could use, which I feel like there are instruments you use, but they're very rudimentary. I feel like you do rely a lot on your intuition with the weather. So in your current life, you can be someone who likes to be by the sea. You can be someone who loves storms, storm chasing, weather. You might be someone that just watches the weather station a lot to see what's kind of hanging around the area or different regions. You can also be someone who might be good at directing people or guiding people, but not like in the way of like a teacher in a classroom, but more like in an intuitive guidance kind of way. Like, oh, I wouldn't, I'd be careful going here because it might, rain, or make sure you bring a rain jacket or an umbrella, or watch out for hail. Like you just might be someone who intuitively knows that, there might be a storm coming. I know that sounds kind of odd, but just that might connect with you in some way. And if it does, it would stem from this life. Someone who likes to be by the sea. Okay, so it's a feeling of not just liking, but almost like you're getting some kind of power from the ocean. And how do I say that? Some kind of power. Almost like, honestly, like if you were a rechargeable battery, you would dip your feet in the water to recharge. That might be what that can connect you in this life. On the flip side, how you can make connections is also opposite. So if that was the case in this life, you might be someone in your current life who is, you know, you've already experienced the water, so in your current life it might not be a big deal to you, you see, so you can make connections either way. But this feels like it's very old. It feels like just like like it's in your blood. I swear, like I feel like if you were an animal in another life, you would have been a fish, you would have been a whale, you would have been a, you know, something in the water. So keep that in mind. Now let's go to the important day. Your first important day here, what we're seeing a marriage. So this is the marriage card, and again, it doesn't have to be taken at face value. It doesn't mean your marriage per se. It can mean you're witnessing a marriage or whatever having to do with a union. Now we're getting the relationship involved is friends. So we're seeing friendship card. And we're seeing the just rolling right along card. All right? So this feels interesting. So okay, let me think here. So this does feel like your marriage. So we're seeing you get married. We're seeing you get married to someone familiar to you. We're seeing this like a very peaceful marriage. Like this union is almost like you fell into it. It's like it's hold on. Okay, so the images with the union, it's on the beach as well. So this is a union on the water or on the beach, and it's almost like at dusk, and there's such a feeling about this moment. It's like you would not be experiencing this very special moment anywhere else. It's almost like the ocean is your friend. It's very interesting, this feeling. And it's almost like this person, this partner you have who's marrying you, it's like if they would not have agreed to have this moment by the water on the beach, you would have had alarm bells going off. That kind of thing. Like, so this person would have to be in tune with what's happening with you, with where you want to be and need to be, which is by the water here. So the rolling right along thing, there's this really peaceful feeling about marrying someone that you're very comfortable with. It's just showing me this image, and it's like almost you're getting married barefoot. And it's really interesting because it feels so modern, but this isn't today. This is, I feel like this is your last life. I feel like it's very, it's almost like your transition from your last life into this life. It's like you reincarnated very quickly. It's almost like possibly that if this is connecting with you, it's like you're reincarnating into a life that was very similar to your other life in order to finish a job or complete a lesson that you didn't quite finish in the last life. So it's almost like you're picking up where you left off to finish something out. Okay, so let's go to the next important day. So here we have the Wowzer card, okay? And that means that there's a burst of a soul growth happening here. It also means that you could be witnessing something amazing. So let's see what's happening here. So here we have the family card. And then here we have the held back card, okay? So it's really interesting because this is a really weird day for you here. It's like there's something about you that's very like, what's it called? Like easy peasy, but free, like something very free. And on this day, I feel like you're adding to the family. I feel like there's a child involved. Like I feel like you're welcoming a child, and why the feelings of held back come into play is because there's a weird torn feeling you feel because there's a lot of responsibility that's building. And it's interesting because I feel like you know, you're this guy that lives in this lighthouse on the water, not too much to worry about, not a lot of burdens, not a lot of responsibility, and life feels very natural for you. Natural and peaceful. Even finding your partner was very natural and peaceful. Even welcoming the child is natural and peaceful, but you're starting to worry about the future. You're starting to worry, oh my God, I have to like help raise this kid. I have to make sure that there's, you know, that there's a roof over our heads and food and this and that. And it's a weird feeling, because while there's like this intense, immense love for this family that you are creating, there's also this little piece that's like, oh, whatever happened to that guy that just worked in a lighthouse, minding his own business, just kind of going through life and having only to worry about himself, and now you have to worry about a family. And so the responsibility, it's not a burden, but you aren't, it's not a burden, but you're like, is it a burden? I'm not sure. Like, you're playing these ideas out, like, you're not really sure if you should be worried. You're not sure how to feel about things, even though of course there's love and you wouldn't have it any other way. You're still playing with emotions and thoughts of, like, what's going to happen, and is this right for me, and things like that. And it's interesting because I feel like you actually go to the lighthouse, you go to the water for recharging, like I said before, for recharging, but also to kind of collect your thoughts. And the water, this place where you go, it's not isolating like it would be to a lot of people. A lot of people would find that life very isolating and lonely, but you feel like it's like home, and it's like it's comforting and familiar. And where people might be like, oh, it's very silent here, there's not a lot of noise, how can you just sit there? To you, the water, the waves, the natural noises occurring to you is like music, is like having friends or having company. So you see things where other people don't. You're able to experience things in a way that other people can't experience, or can't understand how someone could experience it. So I feel like in order for you to maintain this family and this life where you are there for them, and you're great, and you're a wonderful like dad and husband, your partner, your wife here understands that you do need to get away and get to go back to even if it's a job. Your job gives you solace. Your job gives you like that, again, recharging. There's that feeling of recharging. So in your current life, first of all, you can be making connections throughout this as we go along, but what I'd like to say over here is, in your current life, you might need recharging. You might be someone that finds that you have a special place you go to recharge your batteries, and it might be nature. You might just like that. And if you need some place to go to recharge your batteries, it will be nature. If you ever wonder, like, you're like, I need to get away, I don't know where to go, well, go to wherever you can go to, or like, hiking trails, or I mean, you might be someone that likes lighthouses. You might be someone who, like, literally, if you take a road trip, you'll go and stop. If you see a lighthouse, you'll take a photo of it. Like, or you might like photos of lighthouses. You might surround yourself with nature, or photos of nature, or whatever it is. You might find that nature itself is the most inspiring thing for you, And that would stem from this life. And there's a feeling of, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out what needs to be completed, but there's an aspect having to do with your family where it needs to be completed in a karmic way. If there was any karma in your current life at all, I would say it would have to do with family. So how you figure that out is you look to your life and you look at the places where you feel tension, and you try to break it down and feel, even almost physically, like in your physicality, why do I hold tension here when I think about whatever it is that's creating that tension. And then you have to do some mental work and figure out where it's stemming from, and figure out why it would feel that way. That's the karma. Like, that's where the karma is, that tension. So you're able to get rid of karma. You're able to complete it. You just have to find it and work through it. And when you work through it, you'll find yourself on the other end of that karma. You'll be able to look back and see that you're done, and see how you're able to salvage whatever it is you're coming back to take care of, if that makes sense. Okay? So let's go to your death. So the death is the accident card. I'm trying to see what it is. So the accident card, what happened? Images. So what's happening is I feel like we're seeing a huge storm roll in. I feel like there's a huge storm rolling in, and you're taking, and you take your place at the lighthouse, even though it's almost like they're telling you go home. But I feel like you're waiting on a ship coming in. I feel like you know there's a ship coming in, and you want to be there for them and make sure that they're able to come in. And I feel like this storm takes over. Like, I feel like I'm seeing like waves of water, really tall water. I don't know if they get like tsunamis, or it's like a tidal wave. It's like these tidal waves coming in and you're taken over, and it's almost like you're dragged out to sea and you can't survive that. Okay? Which is actually kind of interesting because it's weird. It's a feeling of you wouldn't have really wanted it too differently. Like, if you had to go out, if you couldn't have a natural easy death, you would have wanted to die by water, if that makes sense. There's like this really weird connection you have with water. So in your current life, how that can come across is either one, even if you like the water, you might be intimidated by the idea of like storms having to do with water or floods. Two, you might be dehydrated a lot and you might need to drink more water. Three, you might feel yourself getting fatigued easily for no reason. Even if you work out, you might be someone that gets fatigued easily, so just keep that in mind. Let's see, what else is there? No, that's about it. So if those connect to you in any way, it would stem from this death. And if not, that's okay. So here we have the life lesson. Now the lesson here is letting go. Letting go. And what I feel like this is this is a lesson that wasn't fully complete, and I feel like it very much had to do with these thoughts that you had as far as being held back by family, being held back by others, and really not coming to terms with why you feel that way and how you can overcome those feelings or how you can get through them. Because I feel like what's really nice is that this let go card, you actually were able to let go of what other people thought about you and what society thought about you, or whatever it is, like, oh, there's that guy who walks barefoot on, all the time, goes to the lighthouse. Like, you might have been, back in this time, might have been what they might have considered, a little bit of an oddball maybe. But as far as what they thought, you didn't care, and that's beautiful. But it's your own thoughts that you weren't able to work through. Like a feeling, just a slight feeling of dissatisfaction that actually means quite a bit. It's almost like in your current life, if you're feeling a feeling of dissatisfaction with something, you can't ignore it anymore. It's not that you have to get rid of it, it's that, like, get rid of the situation. You have to work through the situation. You have to get to the root of the thoughts, the root of the feelings that you have regarding a situation where you're feeling dissatisfied, and you have to think, why do I feel dissatisfied? What is truly causing this dissatisfaction? And you have to figure out how to get through that, but not in a way that causes pain to you or hurts other people. You have to, I feel like there's something having to do with expressing yourself. Like here, you didn't really talk to your wife about it. She intuitively knows, I feel like she knew you so well, she gave you the space you needed, but you didn't really talk to her about it. Because, and it was okay with her, but if you had talked to her and communicated, she could have even helped you work through it to get to the bottom of this issue of dissatisfaction. So it's almost like, I want to say, this is being told to you to find a way to better communicate either to others or even to yourself about the root cause of any dissatisfaction you might be feeling, so that you can work through it in the most healthy, positive way and get to the other side of it. And then this lesson will be complete. And it doesn't mean you have to wait till the end of your life for the lesson to be complete. You can complete it tomorrow if this speaks to you and you understand what this might be relating to. you can figure it out easy peasy, and then the rest of your life is yours to decide. You no longer have this karma. So anyway, there's your past life. I hope you can make connections. I hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope you have an awesome birthday, all right? So thanks for letting me read you.